Okay, by way of we saw machlokes yesterday between the Chachamim and Reb Shimon vis-a-vis what are the order of Mrs. Besdin, going from strictest to most lenient. The Chachamim, Skila, Sreifa, Hereg, Chenek. Rabbi Shimon disagrees totally. Sreifa, Skila, Chenek, Hereg. So he argues on both accounts. Where does each one know it from? Where does each one know it from? And that's today's daf. 80% of the daf, 90% of the daf is basically mudim, how you know those halachas. So derech hakdama, fellas, derech hakdama, what's the halacha? What's the halacha of Abbas Yisrael that is mizana? Abbas Yisrael that's mizana. So there are two tkufos. She can be in arusa, she can be in a nesua, right? If she's a naira nisua, she gets chenek. An adulteress gets chenek. Eishes gets chenek. If she's a naira arusa, she's upgraded to skila. She gets skila. You're going from, according to the Chachamim, you're going from the least severe to the most severe. You're going from chenek to skila. Good. What about if she's a bas kayin? There's a special halacha by a bas kayin that she gets reifa. Now, that halacha of bas kayin, fellas, is that by what? Is that by an arusa, a nesua? Is there a difference between them? Right? In other words, if you're bas kayin nesua, what do you get? You get sreifa. If you're a bas kayin arusa, do you get skila or do you get sreifa? Good. Let's keep that in mind. So let's begin to share, and we'll see what we got. So Memtes on the base, 3 lines to the bottom. The Chacham said skila is chamura misreifa. Skila is more chamer than sreifa.
Maybe I should bring the sous vide to.
We don't know who it was, but Kenny. Okay, anyway. It was my fault. I didn't press the mute. Anyway, so skila chamuras misreifa shekain nitna lemegade fulay v'avodah. Someone who's sholtz HaKadosh Baruch Hu, someone who goes ahead and does avodah zara, they get skila. My chumra, what's the chumra? Shekain poishet yadai be'ikah. They're literally stretching out the hand against the ikah, meaning they're going against the tenet of Judaism, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So obviously, the tremendous, in other words, this is the worst avera you can do. Megadef chas v'shalom HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or chas v'shalom being over avodah zara. It stands to reason you should get what? The most severe punishment. So therefore, says the Chachamim, you know how I know skila is the most severe punishment? Because skila is given to it's very important, to Megadev and Ovid Avodah Zarah. Because they're Poshet Yodai Be'ika. Okay, again, we're on the bottom of Memtes Amid Base. So skila chamura misreifa shekein nitna lemegadev Ovid Avodah Zarah. My chumra shekein Poshet Yodai Be'ika. Adarabba, sreifa chamura shekein nitna lebas kayin shezinsa. Umay chumra, and what's so geferlich, right? She came mechalelas esavia because she's mechal her father, right? The Vanam Rashi kidamin lekaman shemhayi noigim b'kodesh noigim b'choil oima orish zu yalad orish zu gidol. Well, cursed is the one who raised this one. Cursed is the one who bore this one. It's a tremendous busha to the family. So Memela, the Gemara wants a taina that the chumra of being mechalel, right? Being mechalel for your father is worse than Yadai Paishit Pi'ika. Okay, that's what it wants to taina. That you're playing one versus the other. So again, guys, it's important. The whole Gemara is going to be doing this. The chumra of skila is that your Paishit Yadai Pi'ika and Hakadosh Baruch Hu by Avodah Zarah Megadev. This chumra of sreifa is bas koyin shezinsa. Now I go ahead and I pose the following question to you guys. Eye contact. I pose to you the following question. We know that a Bas Yisrael, if she is Mizana, we know a Bas Yisrael, if she's Mizana, she gets what? Chenek, if she's in a Sua. If she's in Arusa, she gets Skila. So you're going from the least to the most. What about a Bas Kayin? Now, Bas Sreifa, certainly if she's in a Sua. Certainly if she's in a Sua, there's Sreifa, fellas, right? What about if she is a Narusa Bas Kayin? Does she get Sreifa or Skila? In other words, when the Parsha says a Bas Kayin is Es Avia Himachaleles, is it speaking only about an Nesua or even an Arusa? If you hold that she gets skila like a naira murasa bas Yisrael rather than sreifa, is a right that sreifa is more chamer. Again, the svara fellas is that the svara is that an arusa is more chamer than what? Than an asua. You see it clearly. Why? Because a bas Yisrael that's an arusa, a naira gets skila. So now, what's more chamer, fellas? A Bas Yisrael or a Bas Kayin? A Bas Kayin. Why? Because she's in a Sua. A Bas Yisrael gets Chenek, where a Bas Kayin gets what? Sreifa. So now, if I hold that a Bas Kayin Arusa gets Skila, is a Raya that it's more Chama than what? Than Sreifa. Because she's more Chama than a Bas Yisrael. Good? You got that? It was good. Okay. The Gemara now is going to say that, and Rashi's going to... Rashi has a problem, fellas. We don't find anywhere in Shas, any Makar, that the Parsha of Bas Kayin would be Mechalik. You hear what we're saying? We're saying a Bas Kayin, when it says, Esavia hi mechaleles based Yisaref, what are we learning? That's only by an Nesua. But by an Arusa, it's going to be Skila. Es Bas Kayin, right? She gets Sreifa, Esavia hi mechaleles. Now, what's it speaking about? It's certainly speaking about a Bas Kayin. Which one? I would say both. I would say it's speaking about both. I would say it's speaking about an Arusa and an Asua. Okay. Again, so what's the halacha? The Chachamim must hold, fellas, if they hold skila is mochama, they must hold that an Arusa Bas Kayin gets skila. They must, even though I have no makar for it. But, so guys, I'm giving you a long Rashi. Guys, watch. And I'm going to fit it into the Gemara. The reason we know that skila is mochama, because Avodah Zarah and Megadef is the most severe avera you can do. You're Paisha Yada Be'ika. Mimela, you get skila for that. That we know. So Mimela, it has to be as a result. If a Bas Kayin is more chomer than a Bas Yisrael, and a Bas Yisrael gets skila, it must be a Bas Kayin gets skila and not sreifa. Okay, but so let's see it in the Gemara. But it's not so clear. Says the Gemara, Kasavi Rabbanon. The Rabbanon hold, we're up to Numen Amid Aleph. Kasavi Rabbanon, the Rabbanon of the opinion that Nesua Yoitza L'Sreifa. A Bas Kayin Nesua goes out to Sreifa from where? From Skila. V'loy Arusa. But Arusa does not go out. An Arusa Bas Kayin remains in Skila. Now, Umida Afke Rachman Arusa B'Skila, Shmamina Skila Chamura. Because, right, we know skila is mochama. Okay, so now there's a very long Rashi in those few lines, fellas. Why, guys? We don't have a makar for that top line. We don't have a makar for saying when the pasuk says by a Bas Kayin that she's besreifa, that it's only speaking about an asua and not an arusa. So therefore, says Rashi, the reason we know it is because megadef and avodah zarah. And he takes out the words Umid Afki Rachman Arusa Beskila. Shmaim Naskila Chamur. He takes it out. You're not learning it from Arusa, fellas. You're not learning it. You're learning it from Avodah Zarah, says Rashi. He takes out that line. Because again, he doesn't have a makar for it. He's no makar for it. He infers it from the fact that that it's over Avodah Zarah, and he takes out that line. Okay, so very good. So now we know, again, this is Shitas Chachamim. For those people who came in late, Shitas Chachamim, Skila, going in ascending order from the hierarchy from top to bottom. Skila, Sreifa, Herik, Chenek. So we know Sreifa, Skila is Muhammad and Sreifa. We know from the combination of what? Of Avodah Zarah and inferring that a Bas Kayin who's an arusa stays by skila, even though she's more chama, even though she's more chama in the nesua department, because the bas yisrael is chenek and the bas koyin is sreifa. In the arusa apartment, they're both the same. So you see, skila is more chama than chenek than sreifa. Skila chamura misayif. Skila is more charif than hereg or sayif. Shekain nitlan lemegadev uloivi avodas kechavim. Again, umay chumra kidamarin. As we just said, you push the yoda beikah. Adrabba, Sayif Chumra, where do we find the Chumra of Sayif? Shekenitin Lan Sheir Nidachas. Now, Yan Sheir Nidachas, usually Ovid Avodah Zarah gets what? Skila. We just said it. What does Ir Nidachas get? Sayif. So what do you see? It must be that what is more Chumra. Says the Gemara, Umay Chumra, Shekein Memoina Avad. You know what the Chumra is? All their money is lost. Everything's gone. Amir, I'll tell you, Eze Koyach Meruba. Koyach HaMadiach or Koyach HaNidach. Now, guys, who is worse? The guy who causes someone to do an Aveira or the guy who does the Aveira? The guy who causes the Aveira. So, Memela, Havi Oimer, Koyach HaMediach. So, if you're in this, if you have a city of that way, rove Jews, they get Sayef. You know what the one who caused them gets? Skila. So, what do you see? Skila is more Chomer than Sayef because the Madiach is worse than the Nidach.
Right, but the Skila guy, his Yerushim are getting his money, like you said, right? Because the Yerushim, if the guy gets Skila, you said yesterday the guy gets Mises Bez and this is Yerushim will get the money, right? But over here by this,
that's right. Okay.
But over here by the Eridach is the Shreifa.
Okay. It doesn't make a difference. But again, the punishment. No, again, once we know the Mediach is worse than the what, right? Then we're going to say that what that it's Muhammad. In other words, even though we get the money because he's not, unless he's in the city. If he's in the city, he loses money too.
Right.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. So now we know. Okay, so now guys, we know skila from Sreifa from Avodah Zarah. We know skila from Sayif by Nidachas that takes precedence. Skila chamura mechenek. So now we're going down. We're taking number 1 and we're going down the column 2, 3, and 4. Number 4 is chenek. Shekei nitin lemegadev. My chumra kidamar and you push the other beika. Adrabba chenek chama shkenita lamaka of ve'imai. That you know what? It's a person who goes ahead like Elena whose maka his father and mother causes a wound. He's going to get chenek. My chumra shken hukish kvaydoi lekavid amakoim. It says in we make a hekish. We say that what kavidas avicha v'nema kavidas Hashem behindcha. So we said keep it over aim and it says Kavod Hashem. So the Chas v'Shalom is like you're hitting Kaviyachol, you're hitting Hakadosh Baruch Hu if you hit your parent, right? So I would say Chenek is Mochama. Says the Gemara, Midafke Rachmana Larusa Bas Yisrael Mechal Nesua Bas Yisrael Mechenek Leskila Shmaim Leskila Chamura. Okay, guys, what's more Chamar, an Arusa or an Nesua? An adulteress who's is an Arusa and Nesua is an Arusa. What does an Nesua Bas Yisrael get? Chenek. What does an Arusa Bas Yisrael get? Skila. Is the Chaklara Raya that Skila is Muhammad and Chenek? So we have. Let's go down. Let's keep Cheshbon, guys, because we can go two sheetas. So the Chachamim. Skila is Muhammad. Where from? Avodah Zarah. It's Muhammad then Sreifa. Muhammad Simcha Avodah Zarah is Muhammad and what then Bas Kohen. Muhammad and Aaron Nidachas Hereg. Of course, the Mediach is what is going to get skila. Muhammad and Chenek, because we see a Bas Yisrael when she's in a Suah, it's Chenek. When she's in a Rusa, then it's skila. Mechlal, that skila is Muhammad and Chenek. Now, going down the line, Sreifa number 2, Chamura Misayif. Sreifa is Muhammad and number 3, Sayif. Shekei Nitl Bas Koyin Shezinsa. Umay Chumra, Shekei Mechaleh Savia. Adrabba. Sayif Chumra, Shekei Nitin La'asher Nidachas. Umay Chumra, Shekei Memoyna Avad. Nemar Avia, so we have Xavier Shava. Nema Avia Beskila, it says Avia by Skila. It says Banayim Rasa, Liznai space Avia. Guys, by Naim Rasa, it says Liznai space Avia. What does the Naim Rasa get? She gets Skila. Nema Avia Besreifa. And it says Bas Koyin Es Avia Himachaleles. So we have a Avia from Naim Rasa to Bas Koyin. Ma Avia Amma Beskila. Skila Chamura, then Misayif, Afa Avia Amma Besreifa, Sreifa Chamura Misayif. Okay, one more time. Sreifa Muhammad and then Saif. You know Skila is Muhammad and Saif, correct? You know Skila is Muhammad and Saif. We figured it out from Yoni Dachas. Where does it say Skila? It says Avia in the parsha of Naira Marasa. It says Avia in the parsha of Bas Koyin Shezinsa. So just like by skila, it says avia, and that's Muhammad and Saif. So too by sreifa, where that's by baskoyen, it says avia, it's also Muhammad and Saif. K'zeir shava, not a svara. It's k'zeir shava. Sreifa chamura mechenek. Sreifa is more chama than number 4 chenek. Shekei nitl lebaskoyen shezinso. Umay chama kidamar nesavia mechaleles. Adrab chenek chama shekei nitin lamaka ava v'imoy. Umay chama shekei hukish kvaida lekovid hamakoyim. Now, with the afgrach manul nesua bas koyin mechal nesua bas Yisrael, and nesua bas koyin is going to get sreifa, and nesua bas koyin is going to get chenek. So what do you see? That sreifa shmami no, that sreifa is chamura, right? The sreifa is mochama. Again, one more time. It's the same lima we had before by 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 skila by Naira Marasa. You know, skila is mochama. You want to know why sreifa is mochama and chenek? Because in the suah of a bas Yisrael, if she's an adulteress, she gets chenek. If she's a bas koyin, she gets sreifa. So obviously, a bas koyin is mochama than a bas Yisrael, and she's getting sreifa, not chenek. So you see, sreifa is mochama and chenek. Very good. Now all we have to figure out what is chenek, hereg mochama and chenek, right? Says the Gemara. Sayif chama mechenek. That's the last of the things we have to prove. That sayif is mochama than chenek. How do you know that? Shekei nitin la'acher nidachas umay chumra shekei memoyim avad adarabba chenek chama shekei nitin lamaka ava v'imoy umay chumra shekei hokish the kivat of aim afil hachi poishit yada bi'ika adef. Since irni dachas has an aspect of what of avodah zara, they were avodah zara. Therefore, it's mochama. So then we learned out what we learned out. This is the shittas chachamim, guys. This is the shittas chachamim. The skila of skila, sreifa, and hereg and chenek in that order. Now we can go to shittas of Shimon. What was shittas of Shimon, guys? Sreifa, skila, chenek, hereg. So he has 2 in the 1 spot. He's got 1 in the 2 spot. He's got 4 in the 3 spot and 3 in the 4 spot. Just to make you nuts. Okay, that's the Gemara. Reb Shimon Omer, sreifa chamura miskila. How do you know sreifa is more chama than skila? Shekei nitnu lebas koyin shezinsa. Umay chumra shekei mechalelas esavia. Adrabba, skila chamura shekei nitnu lemegade v'loy v'avodas kechavim. Umay chumra shekei poishin yada beika. Reb Shimon letamei the Amar achas arusa v'achas nesua yotza l'sreifa. Again, he doesn't split, guys. And the chart that I had over here, right? On the chart I had for the guys who are on the screen, right? The first column is Nesua. I didn't send it out. The first column is Nesua. I just did it right here. And the second one is Sreifa. So where he holds the Bas Rabbanan, you don't get Skila. He holds what? Sreifa. Guys, the Chumrah of the Chachamim was, since Bas Koyen gets Skila, she's in the parsha of Sreifa. You're getting Skila. It's a raya that Skila is more chamer. Guys, look at me. Guys, look at me, please. What's more chamer, a Bas Koyen or a Bas Yisrael? A Bas Koyen. What's more chamer, an Asur or an Arusa? An Arusa. Good, given. So that was the whole proof of the Chachamim that Skila was more chamer. That what? That it went from Sreifa. It went from chenek to skila. So obviously, Bas Koyin, if she's going from sreifa to skila, it must be skila's mochama. Rabbi Shimon doesn't make that step. He learns the pasuk clearly. Esavia mechalelas beish tisaref. It says stam. It doesn't say by narusa. It doesn't say by nesua. Every Bas Koyin gets that. So every Bas Koyin gets that. You don't have a chumrah of skila. If every Bas Koyin is getting what? Is getting sreifa, you don't have the chumrah of skila. So it says the Gemara, Rav Shimon litamei. Rav Shimon goes according to this reason. The Amar achas arusa ve'achas nesua yotzel l'sreifa. Machmon la arusa bas koyin mechlal arusa bas Yisrael meskil l'sreifa shma mina sreifa chamura. Guys, outside. It's geschmack raya. We just said the whole thing, right? A bas koyin is more chamer than bas Yisrael. A nesua is an arusa is more chamer than what? Than a nesua. Good. So now, what does a Bas Yisrael get who's an Arusa? Skila. What does a Bas Koyen get? Sreifa. Who's more chamer, a Bas Kayin or a Bas Yisrael? A Bas Kayin. So you see, when she gets Sreifa and the Bas Yisrael is getting Skila, is the Charaya, Sreifa is more chamer. Beautiful raya. It's, again, like Reb Shimon. Like the Chachamim, that it's Skila, you don't have that raya. Like Reb Shimon's Geshmak. We know for sure unequivocally that A, an Arusa, and B, a Bas Kayin is more chamer than a Bas Yisrael. So Mela. Arusa, we know, is going from Chenek to Skila by a Bas Yisrael. It's going from Sreifa to Sreifa. It's the Parsha clear across the board. Sreifa. 1 second. If she was a Bas Yisrael, she gets Skila. A Bas Koyin, which is Mochamer, is getting what? Sreifa is the Charaya. That Sreifa is Mochamer than what? Than Skila. Very, very nice svara of Reb Shimon. Now, now, what? Look at Rashi. Look at Rashi. Look at Rashi. I'll show you Rashi. 4 lines up from the bottom. But when the lines get wide, Mendy's asking, why isn't Arusa Mochama? Well, you know from the punishment, right?
Yeah.
Obvious. Okay. So you know from the punishment. So now, if you look at Rashi, Al Kochach Arusa Chamur Minasua, Sherol Shemayim, Ula Brias, Ula Atzma. It's Rol Shemayim, she did an Aveira, and for people, and for herself. She Poigemis Kvoida, she's Poigim in a heart kavod, Umishpachta, and the Mishpach of his kavod, the Ikan Kolent Fame in the Sua, Shekvai Nifgama. In other words, she was a Basula, and now the first time she's going ahead and having relations, it's what? We spoke this out, fellas, we spoke it out, the unique quality, right? Ein Isha Karesis Brisel Mishas Kli. That there's a unique relationship that a woman makes with the man that lived with her first. And you went ahead and you took this away. Right? You did it away. Therefore, it's worse. It's a first Rashi. Okay, it's a good question. Rashi dealt with it. Now, so fellas, according to Rav Shimon's order, let's go. Sreif is Mohammed and Skila, we did. Now, he has to do Sreif is Mohammed then Chenek, because he holds Chenek is Mohammed and Sayef. So his order is going to go that way now. Says the Gemara, Seifa Chamur Mechenek, that's 6 lines up. Shekein Nitla Lebas Kayin, she's Insa. Umay Chumra Kidamarin, that's what she's a polygamist in her father's house. Adarabba, we said Chenek Chamur, Shekein Nitla Maka Ava V'imay. Right, we said before that make a hekesh between Kaved Savicha, Kaved Shemihoincha. Umay Chumra, Shekein Hokish Kvaidum, Kaved Shemayim, Kaved Amakan. Now, Medach Rechman L'Sua Bas Kayin, Mechal L'Sua Bas Yisrael, Mechenek L'Sreifa, Shmamina, Sreifa Chamura. Okay, very geshmakaraya, guys. What does a Bas Yisrael get? What does a Bas Yisrael get for a Nesua? Gets Chenek. What does a Bas Koyin get? Sreifa. So what do you see? Sreifa. If a Bas Koyin is Muhammad and a Bas Yisrael, then Sreifa is Muhammad then Chenek. It's again, once you get the logic, it goes geschmiert, guys. It goes for the blog. It goes geschmiert. It flows. You know, once you get the geschmack, it just svara. Next, Sreifa Chamur Mesayif. So no, number 1 is Muhammad and number 4. Shkeinit lebas kayin shesinsa. My chumra kidamarin. Adarab Mesayif Chamish keinit lan sheirni dachas. Umay chumra shekein mimaynam avad. Says Amit v'chi eze koyach meruba koyach amediach, the one who causes the avera. A koyach hanidach amedbeis, the koyach the one who does the avera. Haviyayma, I would say koyach amediach, the one who causes the avera. Right, and therefore, Reb Shimon, if you look at Rashi. Reb Shimon Isleifel is Mediche Erni Dachas is Bechenek. The Chacham said Mediach is Skila. He says that what? It's Bechenek. V'yolef Mikra. We'll learn that later on. So again, this is predicated upon Reb Shimon arguing in the Chachamim. What does the Mediach of Erni Dachas get? The Chacham said Skila. So we knew Skila is Mohammed and Sayef. He holds it's Chenek. Uma chenek shechama misayef, chenek which is Muhammad and Sayef, which we'll see in a second. Sreifa chamur mimena, Sreifa is Muhammad then chenek Sayef hakal like kol shekain. Okay, so therefore we know that what that Sreifa is Muhammad and Sayef. Skila chamur mechenek. How do you know Skila is Muhammad and chenek? Shekain nitn l'megadei for levi l'bayis. This again, this is Shitas Rav Shimon. Umay chumra kidamaran that you push yada b'yika. Adarabba chenek chama shekain nitn l'maka ova v'imay. Umay chumra shekain hokish to kavod shemayim. But after Rachman al Arusa Bas Yisrael Mechal Nesua, she goes from chenek to what to skila. Bas Yisrael mechenek l'skila. Shmamina skila chamura. Skila chamur mesayif shekain nidl megadef. Adarab sayif chamur shekain nidl an sheir nidachas. To my chomer shekain v'moino avad. Amr v'chiyez koyach meruba koyach hamediach koyach nidach. Haviyam koyach hamediach, the one, and that's chenek. The kal v'chomer. Uma chenek shechomer mesayif. Skila chamur mimenu sayif hakal leikol shekain. So okay. Chenek chomer mesayif shekain nidl lemaka over v'imoy. Uma chomer kidamor and adarab sayif chomer shekain nidl an sheir nidachas. Uma chomer shekain v'moinam avad. Amr v'chiyez koyach meruba koyach hamediach koyach nidach. Haviyam koyach hamediach. V'tanya mediach yer nidachas beskila. Okay, so therefore you know that chenek's l'cham. Now, margala b'pumei Rabbi Yochanan. This was a margala. This was a pearl in the mouth of Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan used to say, and it was he held it for a very, very, very. We're not going to see it as such a chashuv of a thing, but this is what he was accustomed to say. This was the margala. This was the pearl, literally the pearl in the mouth of Rabbi Yochanan. Nair murasa. Baskayin shezinsa, beskila, like who? Like the Chachamim. Again, Nairun Rasa Baskayin. It does now Baskayin. It doesn't say in Arusa, right? This is the Chiddush. Is like the Chachamim beskila. Rav Shimon Aimer besreifa. Zinsa me'avia. Now let's say she's mizana with her father. Now you have a kamle b'derab mine. What do you have? You have she's an Aimer Rasa is skila, and she's an Ervis Sreifa. If a man's with his daughter, it's Sreifa. So this is a classic Kamle B'Drabnei situation. A guy is over two Averis with one action. He's boiled his daughter Le'aleinu. Correct? So what happens? She's an Arusa. I mean, she's a Naimu Rasa. So he's over on the Isra of Skila. She's also his daughter. So now what do you get? Later Chachamim, what are you going to get? Get Skila. Later of Shimon, you're going to get Sreifa. Okay? So, since the Me'avir b'Skila, Rav Shimon b'Sreifa. Now, my Kamashmalon, l'Rabbanon, Nesua Yoitza l'Sreifa, v'lo Yarusa. Nesua goes out l'Sreifa in the parsha of what? Of Baskayin, but not an Arusa. She remains in the parsha of Skila. Rav Shimon, Achas Arusa, v'Achas Nesua Yoitza l'Sreifa. They both go out l'Sreifa. They go out. One goes out from the Bas Yisrael goes out from Chenek, and the Bas Yisrael, the Bas Kayin goes out to Sreifa. So going from Chenek to Sreifa as an Arsua, and as Arusa you're going from Skila to Sreifa. The time of Mai, what's the reason? Mishum Dalabonin Skila Chamur, Shimon Sreifa Chamur. Now, Rabbi Kiva is having a problem, guys. What isn't this thing Dava Pashit? This is like seems to be a summary of the Gemara. Rabbi Kiva remains Tzarchi and Gadol. Okay, Rabbi Kiva he remains Tzarchi and Gadol on this. He doesn't understand what he doesn't understand what the Chiddush of this whole Gemara was. It seems to be what? It seems to be very, very straightforward. It seems to be straightforward. And what's the Gemara trying to be mechadish over here? Okay. Umay nafgamina, nafgamina lemishin eschayv shtei misais. Bezdin. We have Abbas. You have someone who's chayiv two misas. Bezdin. Abbas Yisrael, not Abbas Kain. Abbas Yisrael, who's with the father, Sreifa with the father, Arusa, Skila. Nafgamina, you're going to get one. Okay, so that's nafgamina. So says the Gemara. That doesn't seem, that's again, it doesn't seem to be a chiddush at all, right? Now, Reb Shimon said that whether you're an Arusa or an Asua, Bas Kohen, you get Sreifa. My Reb Shimon, where were these words of Reb Shimon? Where did he say that? The Tanya, Reb Shimon Omer, Shnei Klalois Nemro Bas Kohen. There's two rules that it's said by a Bas Kohen that she goes out of the Parsha. One, right? It says most you must I know if in the FS by the Parsha of Chenek, and it says Naim Rasa, she's Beskila, and Bas Kohen is in both these Parshas. She's in the Parsha of Nesua, of an adulteress, and she's in the Parsha of Naim Rasa as an adulteress, right? So in both these Parshas is in. However, she goes out of these Parshas, right? Bas Kohen v'lei Bas Yisrael, the Gemara says, the Bas Yisrael also goes out of the Parsha. Ema af Bas Kohen, even Bas Kohen, included. For Hoitzi Akosiv, Bas Kohen l'Sreifa, that's she's in the Sua. Mechal Nesua Bas Yisrael. And Nesua Bas Yisrael is Chenek, and she gets Sreifa in Nesua Bas Kayin. Varusa Bas Kayin, Mechal Arusa Bas Yisrael. Okay, and she goes out of the ballpark. Ma Kishahaisia Kasav Nesua, Mechal Nesua, Lahachmir, Af Kishahaisia Kasav Arusa, Mechal Arusa, to be Machmir. Guys, eye contact. We have two parshas. We have parsha of Bas Koyin and parsha of Bas Yisrael. We have, within those two parshas, we have a parsha of Arusa and a parsha of Nesua. We know that a Bas Koyin is taken out of the parsha of Nesua of a Bas Yisrael. A Bas Yisrael is Bechenek by Nesua, and a Bas Koyin is Sreifa. Just like Bas Koyin is taken out of that parsha from one punishment to another punishment, Huadin she's taking out of the second parsha, the parsha of Arusa, from one punishment to another punishment. The Bas Yisrael, who's an Arusa, is Beskila. She's taken out of the parsha Skila to Sreifa. That's how you know his din. Again, you're doing two things. You're going ahead and saying two rules, right? What are you saying? That the Bas Yisrael and Bas Koyin are in different parshios, and meaning, and so are the Arusa and the Nesua. So we want to prove that Reb Shimon holds that a Bas Koyin is in the parsha of Sreifa, whether in the Nesua department and even the Arusa department. It's a bigger chiddush in the Arusa department. Okay? Just like a Bas Koyin is taken out of the Nesua department because a Bas Yisrael is a chenek, and a Bas Koyin is what? Is Sreifa. So too she's taking out of the Arusa department. Just like a Bas Yisrael is Skila, Bas Koyin is taken out of the parsha and she's Sreifa. That's how you know Sreifa. That's how you know Sreifa. That's the lashon over here. My Rav Shimon, one more time. My Rav Shimon, where's Rav Shimon's din, fellas, that we're taking her out of the ballpark of Skila to Sreifa? The Tanya Rav Shimon Oimer, Shnei Cholos Nemru Bas Koyin. Two rules Bas Koyin, that the difference from Arusa and Nesua, Bas Koyin v'lei Bas Yisrael, Ema after Bas Koyin, even Bas Koyin. Now v'hoitzi akasiv Nesua Mechal Nesua, v'Arusa Mechal Arusa. We take a Nesua Bas Koyin out of the ballpark of Nesua Bas Yisrael. Nesua Bas Koyin is Sreifa. Nesua Bas Yisrael is Chenek. V'Arusa Mechal Arusa. Arusa Bas Koyin is Sreifa, and Arusa Bas Yisrael is Chenek, is Skila. Makashoitzi akasav Nesua Mechal Nesua lahachmir. We're being machmir. We're taking her from Chenek to Skila. Afkashoitzi akasav Arusa Mechal Arusa. We're taking her out from. Sreifa to must be Chama, so you must be going from Skila to Sreifa. Skila to Sreifa. Zoymei Nesua Bas Koyin, Bechlal Zoymei Nesua Bas Yisrael, Zoymei Arusa Bas Yisrael. Pirish. If even like Reb Shimon, if you have Eidim Zoymei on a Nesua, they're going to get Chenek. And a Bas Koyin, they're going to get Skila. They're not going to get Sreifa. It's the first blot in Masechta Makis. First blot in Masechta Makis. Okay? Okay, we're going to stop over here because it's a new sugya.